morning, good morning. It's gray. It's not raining, but it's gray, and it's going to be raining really soon. And perhaps even before the stream is finished here, we are going to see plenty of rain. That's our season. It's a really wet year for us this summer. I got some videos from my daughter today. She posted them, on her account, and my daughters and grandchildren, they're playing in just glorious sunshine, day after day sunshine. They're at the lake, and there's mountains and canoes and The garbage day today, it's on what is it, second Monday or third Monday? No, first. It's first and third Monday. So today must be, what is it, 16th? Must be the third Monday in the month. And today is the unburnable and unbreakable and normally unrecyclable stuff. So I don't know why he's got so much there. The restaurant that side is closed. So this must be from the guy who lives upstairs. I don't know. He's cleaned up something. No idea. So it's non-recyclable garbage day. You can see another bag of it out in front, across in front of the guy next to the whale restaurant. Oyster shells. They're closed. That restaurant has been shut tight now for a few months. Maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 months they've been closed tight. They tried to open up again partway through and just gave up. Either they're getting good sponsorship, what's the word, handouts, or not. Before we start the regular work today, I have some fixing to do. We're going to finish the normal rain block today, but before we start this, I have some fixing. Leichan is printing upstairs. She's printing the 9th print of this year's series, the September print. This is not what the print looks like. This is a photograph. Oops, that's the print. This is a photograph of a printout from some museum or other. And this is not the coloring we're going to be using at all. They did it in just 3 or 4 colors, and we have dressed it up. And it wasn't actually that dark. The piece of paper here is gloomy, so it's going to be a more pleasant print. And we'll be using autumn coloring. I forget the name of the fruit. It's not a persimmon. It's a something. It's a something. I can't remember. Anyway, she wants me to do a bit of extra touch-up carving on this. This was carved for us by Kawasaki-san in Kobe. And at the time we sent it to her, we weren't quite sure about how to handle the inner type of the fruit here. But we've now got forward to that part. Let there be light. And I have to do right now a tiny bit of touch-up carving here. Who cleaned up the garbage? Did you see at the end of the stream, at the very end of the chat, there was one final comment, not the final, second from the end. The comment came from the chat yesterday from my mother. I don't remember the exact words. I don't have it right in front of me now. She said something like, clean it up, or whatever. And I'm like, actually, Mom, that's what I was intending to do. But I didn't do it straight away. I got off the stream, first thing toilet, as always. I got to get to the bathroom after the stream, went to get a cup of coffee and came down and thought, okay, let's get busy with a little bit of cleanup. And I got my dustpan, went outside, and just as I was going out there, the lady was coming out of the hotel across the street with her dustpan. She's been doing her front of her hotel, and she must have looked at it and thought, that's been an hour there or something. So she beat me to it. I just retreated very quietly. But this is fun. My mother, she didn't mince anything. She just said, clean it up. Are you here this morning, Mom? I don't remember the fruit name. It's not a persimmon. It's, what do they call it in Japanese? Zakuro? Is this the one? Zakuro. Pomegranate. That may be it, I guess. I don't know. Don't quote from me. What's this? It says, no bet yet. Yes, I am here. Okay, so... Anyway, Mom, thank you for the hint. Thank you for the little boost. And okay, what we've got, this is the background color, or one of the colors, for the overlay of the fruits. And you can't quite see it here. I guess this one was done. The fruit thing has little circles, and they're on the key block, most of them, and there's little white shadows, highlights cut, and that's what you see here on this block. So these curves are the highlights that match each of the lines. But Kawasaki-san didn't quite know what to do with the area in the middle. It's the area here that had no lines. So she's a little bit always unsure when I tell her, just do it freehand, it's okay, don't worry about it, we're okay. And she's a nice, polite, very nice lady, and freehand is not her, she gets nervous about this. Freehand is not her mood. What if it's not good? What if David doesn't like it? We can't go back. So in cases of this, we just usually tell her, look, okay, no problem, just leave it, and we'll do a test printing, and then we'll chop it in after the test printing. And that's what's happening now. But it's actually funny. It's Dei-chan who's doing the test printing upstairs. And she brought this to me yesterday evening before she went home. And she said, I'll be doing this color tomorrow. Can you slice these out? So I looked at her and said, sure, no problem. And what do you want me to do? Just carve some little curves, right? And I said, okay, tell you what, Dei-chan, this is last night. Rather than do it freehand, let me pencil them in first to see if you think it's okay. So last night I penciled in right here 2 or 3 of these little curves that I thought were okay. And they said, is that okay, Dei-chan, if I do those? Silence. Absolute silence. So I looked at her and thought, is there something wrong? And she's like, she just gives me the face that says, well, I'm not supposed to criticize people. So I said, okay. So I got the idea. I mean, I've been here long enough. I got the idea. I took my eraser and erased it and said, so we should try again, should we? And she said, tell you what, let me take the block home tonight. So she did. She took the block home and brought it back with her version of these little curves carved onto the thing. So I have to do this now. She's going to come down and get it sometime in a few minutes. They're so funny, these people, She thought in her mind clearly that looks terrible, what I had done. But she can't say so, Having said this, I think I like my version better. She's done it in a way. She's got 1, 2, 3 curves, but it leaves a joint here where there's a real chance for tamari. A real chance for pigment to build up here. Okay. This is my obligation work for the day. She'll be down here to pick it up quite soon, I think. Let's get on with the real work. But before we do this, someone's asking, how is the steak and bar restaurant doing? And I really don't want to talk about that. They've been open all the way through. They have not closed. They closed for when we did the first lockdown a couple of months ago. They closed. They were good boys. They closed up. We're now on a current lockdown. We're on the 5th wave. There's infections everywhere. There's people dying daily. And these guys are open all the way through. And they're having parties. And whatever, it's none of my business. Absolutely none of my business. But I've stopped. I used to go there for takeout. I've never been in the restaurant to eat, but I used to support them with takeout, but no more. No more. I'm not going to cooperate. They're having parties and people are dying. No, thank you. So they're doing okay. The easy answer to the question is they're doing okay. Okay, we are going to do the clearing of the rain here this morning. People have been waiting for this. We're going to take the chisels and go up these lines. But before I do, I'm going to take my suite of Aiki chisels here and sharpen them. And I keep getting requests for that, actually. People have been asking about showing this sharpening. So that's what we're going to do here this morning. We're going to sharpen the ice ski chisels. Let's get the lens in the right place. Well, these towels, he's not delivering towels to just one place next door. He's delivering towels here to 3 or 4 places. He's got a bunch of subscribers, is that what you call them? The thing about the sharpening the chisels, other than the knife, we do it. We sharpen the knife, and the motion, the way I've been doing it, is mostly forward and back along the sharpening stone. Those of you who have seen the Ito-san video know that the traditional guys, they put their stones sideways. They're sitting on the floor, and they rub side to side, side to side. Now, I knew nothing about that when I was getting started, so I did my own systems this way, and because of that I made my base with a foot at one end and no foot at the other end, so that the base of my tool will sit flat. The bench is angled. I don't know if you can see it here. My bench is tilted this way, and the stone has a foot at one end so that it's flat. And it was no problem for me all those years. Sharpen, 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 sharpen. But for sharpening these rounded chisels, we don't use a forward and back motion. Even Dave uses a side-by-side motion. So of course with the foot at one end of this thing, it's no longer flat on the bench. So we're going to cheat. We're going to take it off here, put it on the bench itself. Now these chisels are not broken. There's no chips, there's no tips, so we do not use the hard, strong 400 stone. We're going to use the 1,000, 1,000, 1,200. Either would be fine for this. Let's give it a go. I know lots of people are going to say you don't need to make water, you don't need the Nagara, but hontoni, it makes everything go smoothly. This is the Nagara stone. With natural stones, we absolutely need this to make mud on the surface of the stone, because it's the mud that does a good deal of the sharpening. I know we don't need the mud here, but I like it. Okay, here we go. We'll start with the big one. The big one meaning the 3 millimeter. And we've got a bevel. How much can we zoom in without losing too much of it? Let's see. The bevel it's 3 dimensions. Well, not really. It's flat this way, curved this way, and then rounded this way. So I don't know quite how to describe that. If we took a ruler on this bevel, it should show this as being a straight line. It should show that as being almost a straight line. But we're rounded once and we're rounded twice. I don't know how to describe this. There's the thing. So it's, what can I say? The bevel is straight down and the chisel is rounded this way, but it's done in it's a curve like this. So it's not like a piece chopped from a cylinder. It would be like a piece chopped from a cone. If you imagined a cone, you've got one little tiny piece of the surface of a cone as opposed to the surface of a cylinder. And the way we get it is, here we go. I'm going to lightly touch on here. I'm trying to touch. The ideal is to touch at the angle that the blade is. And I can feel it on this larger chisel. Too far up, it's just a tip. Too far down, and we're not even going to sharpen the tip. And we're going to go in a curve this way. I'm doing it like this, in an arc, and that's the way my elbow is built, and that's the way we want the curve to be on the chisel. And it's also getting rolled. I don't know how on earth we can see this. As I'm moving it, zoom out a little bit. As I'm moving one way, I rock a little bit, and moving back, I rock a little bit. But it's not move over, rock left, move over, rock right. I'm rocking it lightly like this as I go left to right. And the dark gray stuff is steel. Let's have a look. And I've got actually, this time I've got it pretty close. I can already see now by the scratch marks where I have started to wear down. The thing was polished. It was really dull, so that means it was hugely polished, bright, but now it's all scratched up. And the scratch marks tell me where I need to go. I'm too much cutting on the right and not cutting on the left. So I've been cutting too much on the right hand side and not enough on the left. Looks much better. And we can also feel now from my finger on the back, if I try and take my finger across here, this is no longer flat. I can feel the burr on the edge. The tip has actually now been, what is it? It's a little bit bent over. This also is a personal taste. I've looked at Chonsan's knives, and his ice-ski and my ice-ski have quite a big difference. The amount of roundness in the corners. Now we can show this. This is, I think what they call these in English is bull-nosed chisel. A normal chisel is flat on the tip and it's got 90-degree corners. These ones have a rounded tip this way. There's our cone. I've got this pretty close today. Wow. Sometimes I really screw up. It gets one corner broken than the other one. We are close. I might leave it there. Now the bottom though has a burr. And in Western sharpening it's a strop. In Japanese sharpening it comes off on the stone. Finger on. Somebody's got the question, when removing the burr, there's no rocking. This is the thing, that has to stay as much as possible absolutely flat. If we let this rock at this point, we're in trouble. And this is something I used to be really, really bad at. And there's a bit of a secret. We'll see in a minute, just a sec, when I get to the thinner ones. Okay, got it. There's a piece of wood. We're okay. Okay, that's not finished. That's finished on this stone. So let's move down our, that was the 3 millimeter. Let's move down to the 2. Not catching this, I'm sorry. Lots of, I know. No chiseling off screen. What's this? What's this? What's this? Another thing about these chisels that was really frustrating for me at the beginning was the angle that I'm holding my hand here. The chisel is going on the stone here. And obviously the higher up I hold it, the duller the angle is. The lower I hold the chisel, the sharper the angle is. And when I was not so good at this, years and years and years ago, I got the chisels and tried to sharpen, got the chisels, tried to sharpen. I was thinking they have to be sharp in terms of the angle. The edge has to be sharp, but I was thinking that the angle has to be quite acute. So these chisels that I had, I used to sharpen them at more of a angle like this. And I hadn't realized that this was more difficult to use. When the angle is too low, the chisels don't, I know, I'm getting back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. When the angle is too low, the chisels don't actually scoop wood out. They slide down and plunge into the wood. It turns out that when the angle, if you've held your angle on the stone a bit more up, I'm going to exaggerate, it's not 45, it's somewhere around here. If you keep it around here, a bit higher, it looks like a duller angle. But the chisel then does your job of peeling off the wood as you want it, instead of plunging down into the wood. So it took me quite a while. And even now, I don't know what the number is. I don't know what the angle is. I'm just going by feel more than anything else. Too close, can I? Again, burr on the back now. My finger can feel it. Soup, soup, soup. I think I've got my cone. Taran-san's watching here. Taran-san, you're doing this, I don't know, you're holding what, 2 hands, rocking your body side to side? Not sure. Taran-san, please toss in your own. Here we go. And we've got our cone. Again, we're not finished yet. There's going to be one more stone to come. But there's the shape. And it's the carver's chance. These corners, how sharp to make the corners. As I said, Chon-san keeps his quite a bit sharper than mine. And in fact, the one I just did a moment ago, that's got a bit more rounded corners than the one you see me doing here. Look at this, the corners here. A little bit more round. Then Taran-san is waiting for me to show you this. I just reached in under my feet here, under the bottom of the bench. This is a piece of cherry wood that has been taken out by a chisel. And this is your tool, this is your outrigger to keep this flat. Without that, there's no way I'd be rocking absolutely. Three, two, down to number one. And this one just takes seconds. It's such a small tool. Tolerance's helping, right? The corners. Someone's asking about our tool set. I should have realized that would come up. We're not ready. We're nowhere near ready. I'm sorry. The problem is the two people who are trying to get that thing organized, myself and mainly Aoyama-san, we have just been flooded with emergency work, trying to keep the business going and trying to do other things. There's a bench upstairs with all the tools laid out, ready to be organized, and we've got all the components, we've got all the parts, we've got the different bits of steel organized, we've had handles made for them. What we haven't yet organized is the way to put the things all together, the assembly line. We haven't got organized. The packaging, the company we hired to make big cases for us, the guy's been hospitalized again. So I'm sorry, the tool project is, it's I don't have any positive news for you. I'm sorry. It's just sitting there. I can't say it's moving slowly. It'll be ready in 2 months or something like that. It's just simply sitting there. So I'm sorry. I don't know. I really don't know. We've invested a ton in it, you know. We've invested tens of thousands of dollars buying parts, buying this and buying that, and buying steel, and having the particular kinds of knives made the way we want them to get made. We've invested a huge amount of time and money in it already. But okay, this is not microscope work at all, but I know exactly what's going to happen. If I just start doing this, we're going to wander and wander and wander. So Tarankan will laugh at me all he wants. It doesn't matter. I'm going to put it under the scope because that will help me keep exactly this in the right place on the block, so on the table, so you can see what's going on. Let's find a place. And where were we? We were here the other day. Clearing by microscope. I'm sorry. What we need is a camera that will, you know, follow me. And I guess the technology is there, but I certainly don't have access to it. So where are we? I'm in the right place. We're here. We're going to clean this next line. And the only other chisel, I've got the next one up for me is a 6, which obviously is going to be nowhere near this. So we're going to use our 3. There's 2 ways to do this, and I'd be very curious to hear from Taran-san which way he and Asuka-sensei do this sort of a thing. When you've got a group like this, a piece that has to be chewed away, do you start at the closest end to you and chew forward? Or do you start at the farthest end from you and chew back bit by bit by bit, like this? So you're always clearing away parts that are already down. If you start at the bottom, you're already clearing up in front. You're clearing up a mountain, as it were. This is working nicely. Here's a question. The corners of the chisel, should they be round or should they be sharp? You're coming up to this line here. Sharp is absolutely accurate, but my God, it's dangerous. something else funny. You can see this. It's like when they cut the baseball field, the baseball diamond. Do you see the color difference? I cut this way with the grain to go on the outside, then I switched around and cut the other way. And one of these ways is against the grain here. You can see the difference in the light. Look at this. This part is cleaner and smoother. This is cut the way it should be with the grain. And this way I cut a little bit against the grain. It's still all cleared out, but look at the difference in color. It's like the tennis courts, you know, the grass sliding different ways. So Taransan's doing the main thing, rather than the direction coming back or working forward. Both are possible. Of course, you follow the grain. This block seems it's going to work pretty much both ways. So some of the blocks, the grain is so sharp that you can work one way, you try and go the other way, and it'll just dig right in. And we may find that as we move across the surface here. But this one right now, it's possible. That's the proper way. And this was actually backwards, but Taransan's talking about the edges here. So Taransan's chisels, is that what you're saying? Your front edge is flatter than mine? Is that what you're after? So the front is flatter and then the corners are a bit rounded? Okay, let's get going. Dave. Okay, next one down is too thin. here at the end. It's really bad. It's it's the white hardwood. So this is really crumbly. It's a fun sound, isn't it? And we get requests, people are, Dave, just do a video with the chisels, put the microphone on the chisel, they want the ASMR thing, but whatever. This is the part where I cut off the registration marks by mistake, but I've checked and they're on the other side, so we'll try and keep them in place. Registration marks, who needs them anyway, right? So that's how she goes, one by one by one by one. How's it looking? You see the two tones, the color tones. I'm staying mostly with the grain. Now that I've learned where the grain is on this block, I'm avoiding as much as possible coming down the other way. You can see the difference. It comes out smoothly. None of this has anything to do with how it will print, of course, and you can see the concept. The lines just are sitting there. Nice. It's such pleasant work, when this thing is finished, it's just such a cool thing to have, a piece of wood carved in such a nice shape, and we're going to throw black ink all over it. What's this thing? How deep do we go? So it's, of course, depending on the gap. Something like this, the paper will never fall between these lines. So we just need, how deep is it? It's not even a millimeter, I think. No idea. I don't think we're a millimeter down. Maybe it might be, if I had to give a single number on it, it's about a millimeter. Looking at it sideways, it's less. It's maybe 2/3 of a millimeter, something like that. Later this morning, Watanabe-san is coming in. Aya Watanabe, she's the young lady who's working on our flea market these days, doing the photography and getting prints ready for the web page and the flea market. And when she left on Friday, I told her, I'm going to have some great news for you Monday morning, you know. She's like, what's going on? I said, well, there's a bunch of auctions happening Sunday night. Some great stuff for the flea market. Some stuff for the collection also, which we would like to buy and keep. And then some stuff for the flea market. Just show me. I said, just wait, just relax. I'll show you when it's all done, you know. And Yahoo Auctions here, it's really common for lots and lots of things to finish Sunday night. I don't know how that got started or why it got started, or maybe it's people doing it in their spare time, so they do it on the weekends and stuff like this. I really don't know. But on any given Sunday night, whatever it is you're searching for on Yahoo Auctions, lots of them finish up Sunday night. It's certainly the case with the woodblock traditional stuff. And last night I had bookmarks set for, I don't know, a couple of dozen different auctions. I got nothing. Blanked. Totally, absolutely blanked. I just sat there and watched the prices go up and up and up and up, and I'm like, oh my God, I am out of this market. There's one I want to show you, so I'm going to find a link here for it, because this would have been so cool to have this stuff in the shop, but the prices. So we can find a link for you. It's a closed auction. I don't know if it's possible for outsiders. If you don't have a Yahoo account, can you see closed auctions or not? I don't know. Here's the link. Let me know if you can see this or not. And I'm not sure if you understand what you're looking at there when you see this auction. Those of you who saw me do the video about the Tokaido series, this was 6, 7, 8 months ago, whatever. I made a video about the Tokaido set. And in there I showed a bunch of normal size reproductions of Tokaido prints. We also looked at a bunch of postcard size reproductions of Tokaido prints. And then we also, and I held up for the camera, I held up a picture of the Kambara design from the Tokaido done as a double Oban print, double size. And this auction you're looking at here, these prints are all that size, double O-band, and they look to be in really, really, really nice condition. These were made in the 1960s. Could be 50, could be 70. They were made in the 1960s. And I was ready to pay about $1,200 for the group. And it went for something around, whatever, $1,500. And I don't know how much are they worth. I don't know, you know. The problem for us is that to sell a print for what it's worth, we can't pay the same price. Of course, we have to buy it quite a bit cheaper. We've got rent, staff, blah, blah, blah. You know how business works. So if someone was buying it for himself, I guess he's got a really, really good deal. But we can't possibly afford to pay a lot more than that if we're going to try and sell them on in the market at a fair price. And that's the problem these days. Everybody has access to the same purchasing. So dealers like me, we can't compete because we can only pay a wholesale price. So I guess the guy who got him is pretty happy, presuming he's going to keep him for himself. Or maybe I'm just now completely out of touch on the prices. That double-size Kambara print, the one that I showed in my Tokaido video, I was thinking that would sell for about $150, $160, maybe $200. It's not a really carefully made, delicate reproduction, but it has impact. So I was thinking to sell it for a few $100s. I've got to be able, I can't pay much more than $100, $120, $150 for it. So I'm out of that auction. But what would they sell for? What do you tell me? What do you think? I mean, this is not, I'm not asking Dave for any business here. The 16 prints in that auction, knowing how big they are, assuming they're in good condition, what do you think they would be worth? So Watanabe-san's going to come in this morning, and she's going to say, show me what you want. She wants to get packing and describing and all that stuff, and I'm going to have to tell her, I'm sorry, I wasn't aggressive enough, you know. There's a dangerous one right there. This is, years ago I would have broken it right here. I've tried to take this out, and look at this, a bit of wood is staying behind, and right there the line hasn't been cut quite deeply enough. And X years ago Dave would have said, I can take that out, and he would have pushed with the chisel, and quite possibly that line would have popped. And now I'm much more nervous in my old age here, so I'm just going to take this knife and go a tiny bit deeper. Out she comes, and we are good to go. Kambara is a bit special because it's such an iconic design, the LP covers and stuff like this. So it's no good looking at that set of 16 prints saying, well, we could sell Kambara for $300 and multiply by 16, because the other ones are not that common. So you have to look at a batch of prints like this and think which ones are more common and which ones would sit here, you know. Someone's asking about the paulownia wood. Here, traditionally in Japan, it's never oiled or sealed or finished at all. Traditionally, paulownia was left natural. I don't know whether it's because you don't want to put oil on the stuff that was inside it, the kimono or the teacups or whatever that are stored inside. But the paulownia is usually left to age almost 100% naturally. I say almost because there's one thing that is done with the boxes, and our boxes are treated this way. They're treated with what's called tonoko. I don't know what it's called in English. The paulownia wood it's planed, it's glued together, a tiny finish sanding, and then they're treated with tonoko. And it's a mix, it's a really fine, super white powder mixed with a kind of glue, and it's rubbed over the surface of the wood. It's kind of a wood filler, I guess. It's not a putty. It's kind of a filler, and it fills some of the pores, and it gives the paulownia wood sort of a smooth surface. And then the rest of it is just left to age, and ideally rubbing, polishing, buffing, something like that. Buffing it up, polishing it up with a soft cloth would really help it age nicely. Where paulownia has trouble, these boxes, is if you open it the same way each time with oily fingers, you start to see oily residue marks on the wood surface in the same place. But the older they get, the better they get. And just rubbing and polishing and smooth cloth and more rubbing and more polishing is the best thing. Nobody here would ever varnish or do anything like that to a paulownia box. I don't know what it's called. It's called tonoko. Ko powder, tonoko, to no ko. I don't know what the to is. Somebody could find it. Polishing powder, tonoko, yeah, whatever. So it's also too a bit frustrating for us because when we put those boxes out, they are white. They're bare, they're not attractive at all, but 10 years, 15, 20 years later, they're going to look so nice. They will have a patina. It's all of our products too, the prints too. The prints we sell are white and clean and they're nice, but they're going to look so much better 50, 60, 80 years from now. Can't be helped. Imagine being a chef, he makes something, puts it on the table, and no, don't eat it yet. Don't eat it yet. Wait, 50 years. Right. Is there other stuff in the market that gets better as it ages? I don't know. Furniture, or what other kind of stuff that people make that would be nice when it's brand new, but it would get much, much better as it ages? I don't know. What other products are there out there that match that classification? I don't know. This is such a pleasant part of the work, you know. As long as you've done your prep work carefully, the lines are cut cleanly, as long as the chisels are nice and sharp, you're okay. It's such a pleasant part of the work. I could do this all day. Ha ha ha. Looking good. Looking good. You can really see the ones I worked against the grain backwards. Look at that. Today is not going to be such a fun day for me. Actually, I'm doing this work now, but as soon as the stream's over, I've got to put it away. Today is, I was going to say our final tax day. It's not going to be final at all. There's lots to do. I know the tax prep has all been done over the past few weeks. Aoyama-san and I have been struggling with it. We finally sent it off to the guy. I don't know, what was it last week? Thursday, Friday or something? Thursday, I guess. And of course he had a million questions. How about this? How about this? What's here? What's this? Please explain this. Please do this, And over the weekend I prepped what I could to answer the questions, and that was sent off to him over the weekend. And I know absolutely what's going to happen. This is Monday morning. In fact, he's already started. I guess the accountant will be at his office. This is our tax accountant. He will be at his office now Monday morning. He will be doing our job because it's a priority. So somewhere around like any minute now, the emails are going to start. Please explain what's this. Where's this? Did you really calculate this that way? So it's going to be a no fun day today. No fun. I've had a couple of really nice days, Saturday and Sunday. Nobody else here. Dei-chan worked upstairs doing that test printing. But nobody else to bother me. No business phone calls, no nothing. Then something else happening today, and I don't know any details about this yet. Remember I spoke to you, was it a couple of weeks back, about the idea that we should carry some prints from the shop that is closed, the woodblock print shop that has been in the Nakamise for years and years and years and decades, closed last month. And I approached them, talked to the guy, he came over, we chatted last week, the idea of carrying lots of his antique prints in our online web shop. We have a good selection of, our own stuff, our own work, but we're really weak on old prints, Edo era and Meiji era stuff. And he seemed amenable to the idea, said he was going to think about it and prepare some stuff. And he called the other day, and he's coming over this morning, 10:30 or so, with a batch of prints. So he's decided to go with this, and we're going to give it a try. So after Watanabe-san has had some time to get organized with photography and things like this, there will be a new section opening in our web shop sometime, a new partner shop. And it's going to be a partner shop between Mokuhankan, us, and the old shop Sakai Kokodo, which has been in business for over 100 years. And all we're doing really is we're just going to be looking at the stuff and saying, okay, I'd like that one, please can I use this one? And we will be taking his inventory of older prints and putting it into our online shop. And we're not going to do any of his new publications. They also commission carvers and printers to do new stuff, but they work for the Nakamise tourist market, not for the kind of market we do. So we won't be handling any of his modern productions. And that's happening this morning. He's bringing over a folio full of stuff today sometime. And I really don't know. They are a very old and established dealer, and they have stuff in their collection. They have, this is Top Gun, this is world-class stuff. They have, original Hokusai scrolls and stuff in their own collection. These guys have been at this for a very, very, very long time. This is the same people who run the museum up in Matsumoto, the Matsumoto Ukiyo, whatever it's called, Japan Ukiyo Museum, I think is the name for it, up in Matsumoto. This is the same family. So this is the father who's going to be coming in today to bring this stuff. And his son is the current Kancho-san, the current curator or boss, whatever, of the museum up there. So we'll see. I don't really know what he's going to bring with him, but I told him, don't go too high here. We don't have a reputation, nor do we have the knowledge to handle, $10,000 prints and stuff like this. That's not what we want to do here. We don't have the experience yet. But he should be bringing a bunch of prints of a level that we normally don't have a chance to work with. So it could be fun. We'll see. People are asking, okay, here we are. Here's the, this is the print that should result. That's an old print you're looking at, about maybe nearly 80 years old, 100 years old. And it was made from this block set. There's the key block for the design. And it was missing the rain block. We've told the story here before. So we're carving a rain block to fit with this. Will our shipping procedure change for the higher quality prints? I don't know, it's not a question of higher quality. They may be more expensive in the market, if that's what you mean. On a more expensive prints, I'm not sure about quality. Will our shipping procedure change? You mean the way we package them and stuff like that? I don't think so. We don't really have a lot of problems with our packaging and shipping. We get very, very, very few reports of damage. And as I said, I don't intend to be starting to deal in prints in the many, many, many thousands of dollars range here. I think the stuff he's going to bring today should be peaking out maybe $500, $600, $700 maximum, I think. Part of the problem is because I'm not familiar with that part of the market myself, I'm not really hip on what are fair prices and stuff. The modern prints that we make, I understand pricing because I know what things have cost us and stuff like this. But when it gets to be the older prints, there's a Yoshitoshi print. Is that worth $200, $400, $600, $800, $1,000? Who knows? The only way to tell is people that understand the market. They know what things have been going for, what the trends are and stuff like this. And I don't know that part of the market at all. As you've seen, I'm struggling at the lower end of the market. Prices are very much going up, and I'm not comfortable with it. So for these new prints coming today, I am not going to be the decider here. This is not part of the market that I have a lot of experience in. He's going to bring me the prints. We're going to look at them. I'm going to say, we'd like to have that. And he's going to give me the price that he wants for them. He's going to say, look, I need to get whatever. For this print, I need $100, or I need, in yen, of course. And then for me, it's going to be a question of how much is it going to cost to get it organized, to get it packed, to figure out who the actor is in that print, how much time do I need to spend on it, stuff like this. And the more information that he is going to bring with these prints, the less margin I have to put on them, because the less time it takes for me to prep them. And if he's got tons of information and all I'm doing is packing, we're going to pack them, take some pictures, put the English explanation up and bang, then I can take a very, very low margin. Because none of this is going to be money in advance. I'm not buying them from him today. We are going to see the prints, take the ones that we want to show, do the photography, do the packaging, and I'm not paying him anything yet. So we can keep the margins really, really quite low. My investment on this is just simply going to be Watanabe-san's time. The underlying grain on this wood is changing now. And what was with the grain and against the grain is now gradually changing. And you can probably tell by the color. It's changing all the way across. You can see the darker tone here that showed with the grain and the whiter tone that was against the grain. As I move across, look at this, the ones that are now with the grain, and I should perhaps switch around now and try and cut some of this the other way, because the wood underneath, it's not a flat single slab. The wood has grain patterns underneath. Let's test a bit of this. If I was to go the other way on the bottom part of this. Yeah, you can see it. Look at the color. So it's really unclear at this point which way to carve. I have to be careful, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I want to mix this block with sharp lines with the older ones. There's going to be no panic on this at all. In fact, this is going to fit very, 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 very well. If we put up, and again, if we bring the print up, let me try and enlarge it a little bit. The fact that my rain lines are going to be sharp and clean. I mean, look at the houses down there. Here. Where are we here? Oh, I brought it up and I can't bring it down. No way, too big. We're not going to have a problem with this at all. Here's a test, a proof. Here's a proof we did from the blocks before we had. And there's no lines on it. But if you look at, for example, the roofs of the houses. If you look at the black lines here for the roofs of these houses. This is printed just now, I mean a few weeks ago. So there's going to be no discrepancy. You know, the block is in good condition. If the block was totally worn out, we wouldn't be trying this. But the block is fine. And my lines will be nice, straight, sharp rain lines, which will just fit in just fine. coming on. Oh, look at the time. Sorry about that. I thought it was around 9 o'clock or something. Sorry. Buzz. Okay. Come in. Oh no, the garbage just came to show. He comes at like 8:45 or so, right? It's the garbage truck clock threw me off there. Sorry. My apologies. Time flies, so somebody says, time flies when you're having fun. Also, the garbage guys didn't come yet. That's a bit funny. The garbage pickup hasn't arrived. Something's all going wrong today. Is it really 9:19? It's 8:19. Okay, where are we? We've been working our way through this book. Today we got something a little bit different. It's classical, traditional stuff. We saw these also to update what happened. The person in the chat yesterday did read this. It was Aono, which I should have been able to read. I failed on that. And the company is still in business. They have 3 or 4 shops, although the shops they have now on their website don't match the shops that we see on the old paper. Also, somebody wrote me an email and said, Dave, take it over there and show this to them. And I am not going to do that because there is no way that could end well for me. You know what I mean? There's the only possible, they're either going to say, oh yeah, we've got all this stuff, no problem, go away, thank you very much. Or they're going to say, oh my God, look what you've got. I want it. So there's no way this could end well for me. So no, I'm not going to go there and show them what it is. Okay, today, moving right along, we have a couple of prints. What do you think about this one? We have a couple of Harunobu reproductions. There's more. And I've had these for ages. I don't know where I got them. No idea where. But I guess it must have been an auction some time ago, because it wouldn't have been in a shop to buy like this. And they are they're small size reproductions of Tanzakuban prints. Let's get this slide off. And these are, when are they made? Dave's going to stick his neck out. They're clearly pre-war. They're not all that old. They are not Meiji era or something like this. They're going to be late Taisho, early Showa. Let's say early Showa. Nice little reproductions of a kind of print now that we cannot possibly make at this level of attractiveness in any kind of reasonable price. Now it says Harunobu, and these could be reproductions of something Harunobu, but when you look in the books, and both these, I tried to find these years and years ago, I was not able to find any kind of original. So this could be something like we saw with the Hiroshige print that we are doing right now, this old print. Hiroshige didn't design it in the form we saw there. It was from a sketchbook, and a publisher later on said, that looks nice, I think I will have a go at that. The same kind of thing that David does here all the time. And these could have been something similar. They could have been prints that this Taisho era publisher just took from an old sketchbook, or he could have even made them completely original and just called them Harunobu. I've got no idea. Or it could be from an original that's just simply not well known. And it is nicely made. Beautifully carved, beautifully printed. Part of the Taisho thing too is the black lines. The black lines are done with a bit of a blacker taste than I normally like, but that's a hallmark of the Taisho era work. and she's repairing it. That's not the way we do paper on shoji screens. Paper goes on shoji screens full sheets at a time. You take the screen off, you wash the old paper off, you lay it on the floor, you put your paper on, with the proper glue on. So this lady here will be, doing a touch-up repair job, because that's not the way these things are done. And we've got a roll of paper. With her pipe, lady with her smoke. Ladies and pipes. We're not looking at courtesans here. These are just normal, what's the word? Housewife type ladies. Ladies at home. That's fine as it goes. But the other one is a bit of an interesting twist. I don't remember the backstory here. I ended up with 5 copies of it. So it must have been an auction or something left over from a printer's workshop. And this would have come to me somewhere in the late 1900s or so. Has somebody already got this? Have they seen this before? Has somebody recognized this? I don't see any comment in the chat here. You guys don't know. Come on, John, you guys get together. If we look at this folder, which is Dave's Surimono albums, which I made over a period of 5 years, from 1998 all the way up to 2004, somewhere in this set of Surimono albums is here. This is Dave's reproduction. I was looking for stuff to put into the Surimono albums, and I made my own version of this print. What I was telling you about half an hour ago, I said, you have to wait 50, 60, 70 years. But it's also the quality of the printmaker to do with this. So here's Dave's version. This is the Taisho era Harunobu reproduction. And these guys were good. There's no question about it. These guys were good. And this is mine. And this is pre-microscope. Dave is carving here. Whatever. He's doing what he can do. And I guess mine is not so bad. But there's no question. Look at the taste, the face, the mouth. Look at the mouth. They got it. The kimono lines, Dave here thinks he's doing okay. This is 20 years ago for me, more than 20 years ago. And then the reflection in the water. We're doing the scale here. So there's a finger. This is the scale we're talking about here. So this is eyes, noses, and mouth. And look at the scale. There's my finger. Again, this is before I started using the scope. There's no way I could do this now. Absolutely no way I could do this now. I could cut this, but I couldn't see this. I can't in any way see this level now. How old was I? I was 49 or 50 or something like this when I did this. People talking about white dots. I'm not sure what you mean. The white dots are the big standout. I'm not sure what you mean. The white dots. Are there white dots here? I'm not sure what you mean here. Oh, you mean in the red? Yeah. This is tough. My God, this is tough. That's the original. Did I not measure up? Let's see. Oh, look at this. Yeah. Yeah, look at this. Win some, lose some. If I was doing it again now, I think I could do better. I see. He cut more. He cut them larger. I mean, I was just trying to be too careful. I should have cut mine a bit larger. Whatever. Anyway, it's okay. I think I'm very happy with the general level of work. The number of people that can carve to this level are now there's not this many people that can do that, so it's okay. Also, do what I did, and I wish we were in Ome so I could show you what we did here. To make this thing, I had this print, of course. Now, what am I going to do with this print? You can't. Actually, I had 5 copies, so I could have sacrificed one. I could have taken one of these prints, actually, and pasted it on the wood and carved from what I saw behind it. But, that's not the way to do. So I traced it. I took the print to a copy machine and blew it up. And I remember this because that was my standard practice. 400%. It doesn't come up in one sheet of paper. It comes up in like 8 sheets of paper. You've blown it up to 400%. Then I got a piece of full sheet of Gampi paper. And these are all in stock. They're in Ome. They're all rolled up in a closet. All during the Surimono years, I traced every one of these prints at 400% enlargement on a light table. I had a hole cut in my carving bench, the carving bench I was using at that time, and I traced it. And I've still got those tracings. And then I went to an architectural printing company. I prepared my own hanchita paper with the thin Gampi, took my giant sheet of Gampi paper over to the architectural, they do blueprints and stuff like that. They put it inside a plastic sleeve, rolled it through their machine, my Gampi paper went in the other end, and bzzz, out came a beautiful, clean, clear hanchita, which I would have then pasted on the wood and then carved. So I did this twice. First, I traced every single dot and line at 400%, and then I went ahead and carved it. And I had good wood. These days we don't, but back then I had good wood. Question, did you bump that line in the obi white part of her kimono? Did I bump that line? What are we finding here? Let me see just what are we finding here? Oh, I see what you mean. Look at this. You guys, give me a break. Yeah, look at this. Oops. Actually, I can see what I've done too. Taran-san, look the other way. Don't listen. Taran-san, don't watch, okay? What I must have done was when I was carving this line, actually his is a bit wibbly wobbly, but when I was carving it, and exactly what you saw me doing today, I must have chipped it out. And clearly what would have happened? Absolutely, I would have chipped out maybe 1 millimeter or so. And then Dave has 2 choices. He can, at this time he didn't really know how to do this very well. He could try and put a piece back in, or he can say, let's just fake it a bit. Let's taper the ends of these 2 pieces and make it look like that's just the original brush stroke. I'm guessing, we'd have to look at the block to see what the story was, but I'm guessing this. I'm guessing I popped out a little tiny piece. Then I said, okay, I'm going to be a good boy. I'll put an insert in. And I would have shaved it back, cut a hole, put an insert in. And then while putting the insert in, it popped off the next piece of the line. Because that happens when you're no good at this. When you're trying to do when you've got a repair on a line, once you've broken one part of it, it breaks and breaks and breaks. It starts to expand the broken part. And the most difficult part of fixing a break is not to damage the parts that are next door to it. So I'm guessing here, the block, one day we'll have a look at the block and we can see the story. But I'm guessing what happened is I popped out a tiny bit of a fragment, tried to fix it, popped the next piece off and thought, I can see where this is going. And I probably cut my losses and I tapered the two ends of it and thought, nobody will ever notice. Until today. That's probably what happened. I don't know. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You know, whatever. There's that thing which we talk about all the time. The perfect is the enemy of the good. You know. Should I have fixed it? Yeah. Should I have fixed it perfectly? Yes. I may also have been super deadline. Remember, during these years, I made 10 prints a year. Excuse me. Sorry. I made 10 of these prints every year, chose the design, traced it, which takes a day or two, carved it, printed 200 copies, did the story, did most of the packaging myself. So I got no problem. We have extra copies, but no, please don't ask. We're not going to sell these. These are for our collection. They may have been printer's waste. You know, when you look at them, if you look, you can find some reason why they may not have wanted to sell each one. And it could have been that they made their stack of X hundred prints, and the guy shuffled through them, and these were perhaps the reject copies. I don't know what the level was. You can see a bit of a mark or something on each of them. And if they were really being quite strict, these may have been the reject copies, which is fine. They were rejected back then, and now they will live forever in our collection. Okay, there we go. Thanks very much. Thanks very much. The next couple of pages of this file actually are more similar prints. So let's see. Oh, no, there's more. It's okay. We have stuff coming up. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. Okay, there we go. This one on the right, it's already in our collection. If you go to the Mokuhankan collection, look for Dave's print section, and you'll see in the Suleiman albums this one. So there is a very high resolution scan photograph of this print online in the Mokuhankan collection. This one will be coming later when we get around to it. No guarantees on when that might be. Okay, I am out of here waiting for my phone call from the tax accountant. Ain't we got fun? See you in 3 more days. Let's pop up the outside window. See what we can see. The garbage guys haven't made it around yet. They will be here soon. And much to my surprise, it hasn't started raining yet. And that too is going to be any minute now. There's our token passenger signing off. Bye for now. See you next week. See you in a few days, Thursday. Bye for now. Bye-bye.